Hey, welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most innovative sets ever released in the hobby, and that's mostly forgotten today. And that's 1991 Top Stadium Club. And I'm specifically talking about Series 1 because that's where it all began, and it kind of set the stage for ultra premium sports cards, and you see premium quality. It even has Kodak on the front because of the process used to make these cards. I mean, this was the most high tech cards ever made, and at the time, and I have a personal history with the set. I'll go into, but it was definitely something that was special at the time, and it really blew away the '89 Upper Deck set. And I think a lot of people forgot how much cards today owe the look, the feel, the foil stamping to Stadium Club. So we'll get into it. So starting with the facts, the set was released in late 1991. So one of the things that is always brought up as one of the issues of the set, we'll get into later, but is that it did have a chance to have all the players in the set because it was released so late. It was released in two 300 card series, and so Series 1, was 1 through 300. There were 36 packs per box with a suggested retail price of $1.25. However, scalping was a thing at this time, and I remember even in 1989 with Upper Deck, pretty much you couldn't find it anywhere because people were hoarding it or busting all of it looking for the Griffey. And that carried over in '91 when this set was premiered or even previewed. It generated a lot of buzz, and so due to this, that packs were selling for upwards of $8 a pack, and I clearly remember boxes being like $180 a box. So when Series 2 was released, Topps, doing their own price elasticity study, decided $1.99 was a better price point. And in a weird coincidence about availability, it was sold at McDonald's, who I guess wanted to get on the action. So here's an article from, it says it's from 2005, but it was originally published in 1991 in the Tampa Bay Times. And it talks in this article about, how Topps is upping the game for premium sports cards. And even Tim Boyle, a spokesman for Topps, talked about the high-tech card market's growing quite a bit. So the idea of having super premium, expensive cards was really becoming in vogue. And the one thing that was very interesting about this was, it says in this article that dealers have been charging $6 a pack, $125 a box, and their allocations were small, and it's going to be limited. And we had the cards in the shop for 5 minutes, and they were gone in like 10 minutes. So this was literally, a set that when it came out had huge interest, and everyone, was going and trying to find it. And I remember at the same time feeling the same way. Now, this set, is talked about as being one of the most highly innovative sets. And, first of all, the set just looks so different, right? So if you think about an '89 Upper Deck card, which was considered to be the first high-tech, big high-tech innovation in sports cards in a long time, and it had a hologram on the back, and it had white card stock, and but the one thing about '89 Upper Deck and that really made them less premium to me was how thin this card stock was, and they didn't really feel premium. Now the Stadium Club cards felt premium. They were thicker, they were glossy, they were borderless, and they had the first full bleed glossy front and back card ever produced. It had foil stamping, and I know today it's not such a big deal, but to have a base set with foil stamping is just amazing. Now, obviously, today it's very common, but this was the first base set to do it. Now, obviously, Donruss Elite cards, and I think 91 Leaf Gold set, gold rookies had foil stamping, so it wasn't like they invented it, but they put it on a base set, And every card, to me, when this set came out, looked like an insert. It looked like everything was just special. They also use very innovative photography, so you can see the Sammy Sosa really interesting photos. And so they staged photos, they made special photos for certain players, and the photos themselves became part of the mystique of the set. And even today, photography for Stadium Club is its calling card. That's how people know and love the Stadium Club sets, is because of the photography. And they also featured the rookie cards of the players on the back of the card. Now, they only pictured Topps rookie cards, which in some cases weren't the actual rookie year, so we'll get into that later. But it was a very interesting way of doing it, but it was kind of cool at the time, and no one had ever done that before. So the cards themselves, and we talked about the photography. The Nolan Ryan, I think, was a very special card when it came out. But it had action shots, it posed shots, it had I think the Griffey card is really cool with the bat rack in the background. It's just the Bonds kind of a high school senior photo. You have a lot of different types of photos, which made the set very fresh. And then you put it with the foil stamping, the full bleed, the cool photo on the back of the rookie cards, and it was just like. It was FOMO in real life for this set. Now, there was obviously issues with the set, because obviously today the set isn't, thought of in terms of being one of the most collected or desirable sets to get. Nobody really talks about building their 91 Stadium Club set like they do a 93 Finest set or the 93 Finest Refractor set, First of all, there's no rookie cards in Series 1 that have any value. And so there's nothing really to chase other than just the base cards. And they're not short printed, so there's no real chase card in the whole set. And, the glossy cards obviously were amazing at the time because no one had seen this before. But they stuck together. And, they definitely had issues sticking. And, especially in the southern parts of the country or where the weather was warmer, it made it even worse, especially if you left them in a hot car or, they were on a truck that was very hot and they would get to you and the cards would stick. Another thing that was really negative about the set, especially given how hot and popular it was you could sequence it by looking at the top and bottom card. You can see through the pack, you can see who the top card is, you can see who the bottom card is, and people figured out sequences so they could pull the Griffeys and Nolan Ryans from the boxes. And if you bought a box, because these weren't sealed, you didn't know if you were getting a box of cards that had been searched. And so searching the cards, and this was one of the first sets I really remember as a kid of being searched, and it was something you had to worry about. And I think the back of the cards had a great, the idea of the rookie card, but they used some really funky stats that didn't really make a lot of sense. And they kept that for a few years and have kind of gotten away from it. But even today, sometimes Topps will use some funky stats on the back for Stadium Club. It's kind of it's a thing for Stadium Club. And so we'll talk about the backs a little more here, and you can kind of see the for pitchers they had like how often they threw certain pitches. For hitters they had zones and where they hit. So it's kind of cool. It was like they were trying to be like create like cool stats like before the statistical nerds took over and created WAR and the actual stats that have meaning. They were trying to do something different. Now, the one thing I mentioned, the rookie cards. Obviously, Roger Clemens' first card is a Fleer card, so it's not going to show that card from '84. So it shows the Topps card. Okay, kind of makes sense. I mentioned that no rookie cards, but the Jeff Bagwell is from Series 2, and it was kind of cool because it showcased, the rookie card was the actual card on the front. So it shows itself as being the rookie card. And I think that's kind of cool and kind of self-aware. that it shows itself as being the rookie card on front and back. I like that. And then the Griffey cards kind of showed the progression of this set. In terms of using the rookie card in the back. By 93, which is the second Griffey shown here, they had relegated the rookie card to a very small photo, and then they incorporated another picture of Griffey. And then by 1994, they had gotten rid of the actual rookie card photo completely. So it was kind of like a thing for a couple years, and then they kind of got rid of it because showing the same photo on the back of the card every year was boring. So makes sense. Value-wise, PSA 10 of key cards in the set, especially Series 1, which I want to talk about exclusively, do have great value. Compared to the supply, because if you look at the pop count, which are in parentheses for all these PSA 10s, they're not exceedingly rare. I don't think I would view these as crazy rare, but they're harder to get than a lot of newer cards. So theoretically, they are a little hard to get. I would say they're like a medium difficulty, because in general, when you look at the Griffey, the Thomas, the Ryan, and the Ripken, and you look at how many cards have been submitted, about 20 to 30% of all cards submitted for these higher pop cards are 10s. So 20 to 30% are 10s. So 1,000 cards get submitted for Griffey. 214 of them are 10s. That's around the ratio there. And value-wise, they go up and down, depending on the week. But in general, the Griffey and the Thomas are about $250 to $300. There was one sale of the Frank Thomas over $400 recently, and then the Ryan and the Ripken are around $100 and a 10. Now there are two cards in Series 1 that have unusually low PSA 10 rate submission rates, and that is the Sammy Sosa and the Juan Gonzalez. Both of them, have around 11-12% respectively PSA 10 conversion rates from the amount of cards being submitted. So I don't know if that's because of where they're on the sheet or the off center, but it is a interesting thing to see that there's only really two cards in the set, once submitted at a certain rate, have this below 20% conversion rate. Because a lot of cards, like let's say that have, say, like a Greg Maddux, 100 cards submitted, 60-something 10s. Once you get to 500-600 cards, that rate goes to 20 to 30%. Here they're in the low teens. So it's just something to think about if you're looking to submit cards from the set. Those two are actually harder to find. Now, my history with the set, and the reason why I love it, is because it was one of the first sets that I ever really, again, had FOMO for, because I was more of a collector of vintage and older cards, but this set really turned me on, and of course I knew about the 89 Upper Deck set, and I missed out on it. $1 a pack, I was like horrified, back then, and I didn't really understand, that it was changing the game. And this set really changed the game, because the first card I ever saw was a Wally Joiner at a show in Pryor, Oklahoma, and the dealer that had it got it from a distributor. And the thing that's funny about it is because Wally Joiner's not in the promo set, so there's like 100 cards, or I don't know, not 100, maybe 60 cards in the promo set. He's not in it. I looked, and so to get the Wally Joiner, obviously the distributor had opened some boxes and had given him, Wally Joiner, because Wally Joiner wasn't worth anything. Well, at the card show, I offered $20 for a Wally Joiner card, and the guy turned me down, and he kind of laughed at me, saying like, "Oh, this card is going to be worth a lot more than $20. These cards are super, super hard to get and really high end." But I remember, like, when the dealer brought it out to everyone to look at, it was like someone brought out the Holy Grail. Like, like a light went off, like it glowed, and everyone just gathered around to look at this card. And it was Wally freaking Joiner. I just remember that to this day, that we were all just like entranced by this card. And so we obviously went out and tried to find the product, and it was nowhere to be had. Now, later on, I remember specifically, my dad coming and telling me that he had gone to the Tulsa baseball card store, and there was a guy that had boxes of Stadium Club, and he was going to be at a hotel, and we could go to the lobby of the hotel, and then we could open packs there at $5 a pack. And we did, and I remember I think we spent like $100. We bought 20 packs, and we didn't get anything good at all. Like I remember that. Like we got no Griffeys, no Nolan Ryans, no Frank Thomases, nothing. And I thought it was very weird. And in fact, there was a lot of people there. I remember there was maybe 20 people, and a lot of fathers and sons like me and my dad opening these packs. And what I remember was that someone did get a Juan Gonzalez, who at the time was pretty popular. But that was the big card. And it was like Juan Gonzalez. And then later on, we learned, they were all searched, and that's what when we were telling the story to the owner of the Tulsa baseball cards, he's like, yeah, these cards are pretty easy to search, and you probably bought searched boxes because there's no way you could open that many packs and boxes with all the people there, not just us, and get one Juan Gonzalez card. And so we got ripped off. So this is how it went, and it did kind of. Even as a kid, I was a junior in high school at the time. It definitely left an impression on me that people will rip you off in this hobby. So it was a learning. I learned a lesson at a young age. So that's my history with the set. I have a box here I purchased, so I'm going to open it. And so let's get on to the break, and hope you enjoy. All right, we are back, and we are going to open this box of 1991 Stadium Club. And so obviously the thing we're going to worry about the most is the cards sticking together. So this might be a short video because I'm not going to open a whole box if everything's going to be stuck together. So I haven't really looked, but here's the box. The first thing we'll figure out real quickly is we kind of do this test. Kind of bend them around a little bit, and they're not really stuck together because I can tell by there's no squeaking doing it. So these are going to be good. So that's great. We're going to be able to open a whole box and actually have cards to maybe send off for grading. Who knows? And we'll go from there. But yeah, this is fun. I haven't opened a box of this, obviously, and many years because why would I without grading? So obviously being graded is the only way this set is worth anything, unfortunately, because I think it's a great set. Now, one of the things about these cards that's very interesting is to get centering on these cards, because with no borders, right? How do you determine centering? You got to look at the space between the Topps logo and the edge here, because and you kind of have to just look at a lot of cards to kind of see how close to the edge that should be. And that's the only way you can really tell centering on these cards. So that's a cool J Bell. And again, that's why the photography in this set is just amazing. Now, not every card is super cool. Here's Dwight Gooden. Some of them just have good photos, but not every card is like a super duper amazing photo. Here is an explanation of their stat system, which is kind of necessary, I think. All right, so this is a big set, 600 cards, so you're going to have a lot of commons. So I think they learned their lesson from these type of sets later on when they, with the super premium sets being a lot smaller. So okay, Joe Orsulak, see like Joe Orsulak, Pat Combs. I mean, it's just so the other thing we're going to look out for is this box spin search. So that is the bane of all 91 Stadium Club sets, is the searchers who like to destroy anything that's good and pure by taking all the good cards out. So, back-wise, here you go. Bill Sampson. So everything is good. This is obviously was kept in nice condition in terms of storage. And Bobby Thompson. Spike Owen. And the thing about, I remember getting these cards is like I built a 91 Stadium Club set completely from pack back in the day. Because we had gotten so many cards trying to, from that, 20 packs we opened and, just trying to build a set. And so I remember buying commons and trying to put the set together, and paying $15-20 for like the Nolan Ryan and, it's just kind of crazy. So, but it was a great set to put together. So we haven't hit anything big yet, but there's a Craig Biggio. So it's an early Hall of Fame. So he's kind of like the first player we've gotten so far that's somewhat, I guess, Hall of Fame-ish. So yeah, I'm hoping to hit, at least one of every, big card. Just because, it's like a really big memory trip for me. And again, I don't remember hitting a lot of these cards out of packs back in the day. I ended up, I think, buying most of the cards I had for my set that were expensive. So, Pirate Neil Heaton. Ooh, Michael Valier. Oh, Bob Walk. This is like a dream pack for me back in the day when I was, I'm still a collector of Pirate cards, but this was a special team and really wish they'd have won it all. But Michael Valier was my favorite catcher. I think his nickname was Spanky. Bob Walk, who's an announcer now for the Pirates. So nothing good. I back in the day, every time you got a Mariner card, until you got used to the photos, it was like, oh, it's Griffey. Another Hall of Famer, I think, Willie Smith, Hall of Famer. I should know that. Sometimes I just forget, where everyone's at in their Hall of Fame voting. And Kenny Rogers, who was an awesome pitcher. This dude, was close to Hall of Fame. Very close to Hall of Fame. And he was the first, 100 million pitcher, something like that. So, very, very good pitcher. All right. Try to get through this. I mean, there's a lot of packs in here. And that's the thing about this set. There's a lot of packs, a lot of cards. So I'm only going to stop on, some of the key cards. I know, like Alex Fernandez, this guy, for a while, he was a huge rookie back in that time period. The Shields was a big player for a little bit as well. So, I think, you had some, and here's just like, these cards are sticking together. And when they stick, you'll see is, you'll lose some of the blue and the gold will rub off. So this is the first card that kind of stuck. Ellis Burks, who was another great player. But, even like cards like this, Al Newman, this is just playful and, him blowing a bubble. And obviously Al Newman is not a big time player, but they just had fun with photography. Pat Borders, Omar Vizquel. Hey, there's Omar. So nothing yet. This is a one of the sets too that obviously I think nostalgia wise a lot of people like remember the set fondly, but it was frustrating because besides the sticking together issue even back then, the availability, how much money you paid, and then there was no rookies, and so Dan Pasquale and that cool 8-men out throwback uniform. And this is the first cards I really remember. In '91 there was a lot of throwback uniforms of the White Sox, I remember, but Stadium Club captured him so beautifully. Steve Avery, this card used to be a cool card as well. part of that Braves rotation. Dante Bichette, whose son is killing it right now. I wish I had a Bo Bichette Sapphire, because I have the Vlad. And that's sort of on the list, is to get me a Bo Bichette Sapphire. Dave Winfield, Hall of Famer. Shane Mack, Charlie Hayes, who ended up playing for the Pirates for a little bit, and Dave Johnson and Bryn Smith. So I haven't hit any of the big Hall of Famers yet, so I'll keep going. Again, you can see on the back, there's Oral Hershiser. These were easy to search, unfortunately. So Jose Lean, and right there, Barry Larkin. That was an awesome card. Such a good player. He reminds me a lot of Joe Morgan in terms of just, one of those guys who's going to continue to get people to realize how good he was for a lot of years. Gary Sheffield. Okay, we're starting to get some better players. Sheffield. Cool Brewers throwback uni there. And then here's Wade Boggs. So I remember this was cards I used to pull, and pin in binders. So Wade Boggs would have been one as well. Very cool card. Eric Davis was a stud. I mean, he probably 24 home runs that year. Kind of started the downhill. I think around 91 was when he started to go down the hill a little bit. So there's like one or two cards kind of stuck together in every pack. Fernando, and then there is one of the I call them like the glamour shots or high school photos that in 92 Bowman they took the same idea and did it with most of the rookies. So which, at the time I didn't think much of it. I thought they just were kind of fun. But now when I go back and see all the sweaters and how they were dressed, it was such a 90s thing to do. So here is our first repeat. So we can see Eric Davis on the back of this pack. So we're already hitting some duplicates. Carney Lansford. There's Sammy Sosa. So this is the card I was telling you about that has an unusually low pop count for the amount of cards submitted. So very interesting. I don't know why. If it's just bad luck, people submitting not the perfect versions, or so another Vigio. Again, another Gary Sheffield. So this is where you're getting. So remember when we already had these cards once before, so these are kind of stuck together. Wow. So there's the Wade Boggs, but yeah, there is. Look at that damage right there. So there you go. That's what the stickiness will do to the card. So, but this whole sequence right here of these four cards was the exact same sequence we got earlier. So, like I said, these cards do go into some sort of sequence that you can figure out pretty easily. Unfortunately. Tom's got smarter later on, but it took him a while to figure it out. Nobody really, it's so funny in this hobby that it's like we as collectors know that people will do whatever it takes to kind of rip you off. And I got a friend of mine who's a huge Sabo collector. So there you go. That was actually a cool photo. But the companies want to act like like, especially around this time period, that the sports card collectors were like still all kids, and this was like an innocent hobby, and they didn't need to really, do much protection. Even though Upper Deck did the fraud, protection with the hologram, which is what it was designed to do, was to prevent counterfeiting, and which is interesting because I don't think counterfeiting was as popular then as just trimming or pack searching. Those things were a little bit more common. So I think the foil packs for Upper Deck definitely helped, but these packs did not. So Charlie O'Brien. So yeah, I'm a little miffed I haven't hit anything big yet. So hopefully that doesn't. Dan Plesac could pitch forever in a day. Jeff Ballard. But, back in the day, Carlos Baerga, he was a huge guy. I used to have a whole Baerga binder. I was really into that guy. I actually had his autograph through the mail. So the Sosa does hopefully give me hope that the product hasn't been searched, because I think he would have been pulled out of there at some point if you're going to just pull all the good stuff. We'll see. I mean, back in the day, that the only two cards I remember people really, or the three cards people were dying for in the set was Nolan Ryan, Griffey, and Frank Thomas. And so the Ripken was popular as well too. But again, Neil Heaton, and then you got the Michael Valier, and then there's Bob Walk. So again, the sequence, and then it flips a little bit. There's Paul O'Neill. So again, knowing who on the front and the back gives you a good chance of knowing. Oh, there we go. Kent Anderson. There's our first really, really cool card, and it is not stuck, so that's great. There you go, Nolan Ryan. This was such a big card. I mean, it's a massive card. Now it's $100. I was actually surprised when I looked at the PSA values that this card wasn't like in the top two. I would have been like, okay, it's going to be Griffey, then Ryan, then Thomas, but still a great card. So it's definitely an awesome card, and it's one of the iconic. I think it's iconic. I think it's one of those cards from the 90s that, as a kid, everyone wanted to have or had, and again, it wasn't rare. I mean, it's not like a 93 Finest Refractor, which you couldn't find, and only a couple hundred made. But it was rare enough, and the product was hard enough to get that when you got it, you were super happy to get one, because it wasn't like they were on everyone's, supermarket. So, always like Teddy Higuera's hair, gray hair. Greg Litton. So yeah, so that definitely proves to me this box has not been searched. They would not leave a Nolan Ryan in this product at any point in its history, because that card was as chase a card as this product had. So again, these are all repeats of prior packs. So there you go. So this product, when I was, really, just really starting my collecting journey, because I started collecting in '86, and so, not a lot of money. I was a a high school kid. So Jack McDowell, I love Jack McDowell. It was, just getting some of these cards, as common. So I told you, I would go to card shops or card shows and just buy commons to build a set. And it was just fun to get the cards, and this was, there's Dave Stewart. I forgot Dave Stewart was also in a tuxedo. Very cool. So I got both. I think, because, Stewart was an awesome pitcher. I mean, he was 22-11 that year with 2.56 ERA. He had 3 or 4 years that was just awesome back to back. Kevin Moss, yeah. So that 90 upper deck was such a big card. Lee Dykstra, Howard Johnson. So, yeah, it was definitely, you felt like you were getting something more by getting cards like this and 93 Finest cards. It was just like that. This set obviously, one of the things of this set I didn't talk about in the intro was it started the arms race of premium cards. So this obviously poked Upper Deck in the eye, made them aware that someone could do premium cards even better, which is funny because, we always bag on Topps for not being able to do premium. And I think they figured it out. I think they've got a lot of good sets now, but it took them a while to get there. And oh, look at that, Wally Joiner. There is the card that I was going to pay $20 for and got turned down. So there we go. I have my Wally Joiner back after all these years. And cool card here, Jose Canseco. This card actually sells really well in PSA 10. I think it's like a $60 or $80 card. So Canseco is one of those cards that people love to have. It's very iconic because he was just part of that era. And there's Julio Franco. So yeah, you know, like it really did start the arms race, you know, and once you wow. And so this is kind of like what I do. Like I don't pay attention. I should have just not opened this pack because right on the back is Nolan Ryan. And I saw a pack with Nolan Ryan on the front sell for like $100 and PSA graded. So just kind of wasted that opportunity to have a Nolan Ryan on the back and just get the pack graded, and that would have been cool. So we're repeating again. So there's the Sabo. And so here is Matt Williams, who was one of the best hitters, you know, for about a 6-7 year period in the National League for sure. Let's see who this is. Is this anybody good? It's Tom Gordon. It's stuck together. Guy looks just like Wally Joiner's card, and then another Nolan Ryan. So 2 Nolan Ryan hits out of 1 box. So yeah, not search. And this is why, you know, like when the guy told me, like, yeah, you bought obviously a search product because this is what you would normally get. You're going to get some of the best cards in every box. There's 36 packs. I mean, you know, 12 cards a pack. You know, it's not like you're not going to get most of the set every time you open a box of this, which is cool. So, you know, Rick Aguilera. It'd be interesting, you know, to see. I remember this card, Eric Show. So him and his guitar, man, that's a cool guitar. That guitar is worth more than Eric Show is now, right? That's a cool guitar. Oh man, Lou Whitaker, very nice. The Hall of Famer Lou Whitaker, Eddie Murray. Wow. There we go. So 2 Nolan Ryan. So obviously, you know, for myself, you know, I really want the Griffey. If it's nice, you know, I could definitely send a flyer on it. It's so hard with PSA nowadays, though, to grade anything. I mean, if you think about it, you know, it's just so expensive to grade cards like this now, unless you know for sure you're going to get 10. It's a cool card, and I love that Robin Ventura. I was a big Ventura fan, even though Nolan Ryan kind of beat on him a little bit. That's still a cool card. Tim Belcher. Saberhagen. So another player in this set that sells pretty well is George Brett. Pretty sure he's in Series 1, 2. Dunston and so, but again, it's a huge set. Gonna have a lot of doubles when we get done with this. Bob Walsh on the back. I'll start trying to see if I can predict who's on the back before I open the packs now. Let's play a little game. Oh, there's our first Bobby Bonilla. Mr. Met. Frank Viola. Nice shades. That's a very cool card. They did a lot of cards like this kind of pitching pose sideways. Oops, sorry. Bobby Bonilla. And I was a huge Bobby Bonilla fan, so here we got some cards stuck. But I always thought this was a great, you know, just classic sports card pose. Eric. So these are some new cards we haven't seen before. So, and again, there's Rubens here with a lot of damage. That's what happens when the cards stick. Storm Divas. So I'm just trying to unstick cards. Xavier Hernandez. and Bob Welch, who was a big stud for a little bit. There you go. All right. So let's see who this is. This is not Griffey, so I will open the pack. If I see a Griffey on the back, I may not open the pack. Just because it would be cool to have that pack rated, for sure. All right, check back down. So we're seeing some doubles here. Again, cool uniform. Oh, there we go. Frank Thomas. So big hit number 2. So there we go. That's the first super big card. So that's in a PSA 10. We said that the last one sold for about $400. Normally sells about $250 to $300. So that was maybe a abnormality. There we go. Go. Chuck carried it over by that guy. So there we go. I want to show the Frank Thomas because I think on the back it shows his debut card versus his tops. Maybe it's tops. No, it's his tops card. Okay. Very cool. So not the non-name on front, but a cool tops card. So our count is 2 Ryans, 1 Frank Thomas. No rip pins, no Griffies yet. So Dave Johnson on the back. Glad because I didn't check to see if it wasn't Griffey. There's the Sandberg. So we got the Ryan Sandberg. So we hadn't hit the Sandberg yet. There we go. Darryl Hamilton, who was really good for a while as well. Gary Templeton, who I think who they traded Ozzie Smith for. Lance Johnson. There's Ryan Sandberg. Nice. And I think that's Willie McGee. Very cool photo of Sandberg. Who down here was the best players. Another Steve Avery. So again, we saw Steve Avery earlier. And Dante Bichette. So we've seen these cards. Dave Winfield, Shane Mack, Charlie Hayes, Steve Johnson. So saw that pack before. Ooh, Juan Gonzalez right on the back. So this was the one big card I remember seeing pulled at that hotel. Was the Juan Gonzalez. This is right on the back. So haven't seen a Gonzalez before, so it'd be cool if we can get the Griffey in a pack soon. Jim Cannon. There's a Will Clark. Always love that sliding photo. You don't see enough of that. Nowadays, without no one selling bases, no one slides. Sliding's a lost skill. There's Jose Rijo, who is an awesome pitcher. There's the Bo Jackson. That's a great card. There's the Juan Gonzalez. This card sells okay too. I saw where it has quite a big pop right now. So, yeah, I think Bo Jackson's pretty cool. So we are pulling almost everything that's cool out of the box so far. So not the Griffey on the back. I haven't checked to see if I can figure out the front. I think you have to kind of, yeah. You can definitely see, you know, the back, you know, the rookie card on the back. So I think you can figure it out pretty quick. Once you see who that rookie card is. John Kruk. So these are some new cards. Nice specs, rec specs. Mike Gallego. So there's another Frank Thomas. So our second Frank Thomas, and nothing got pulled off that one, so that one's still okay, even though it's a little stuck. And Bert Boyle and Rob Dibble. So yeah, two Ryans and 2 Frank Thomases. So it's a good box. I mean, no matter what happens. So that's not Griffey. It looks like Robin Yount, maybe. And that looks like an 82 top. So it's not the Griffey. Let's see if I'm right. So this is Nope, not Roman. It is Mark Williamson. There we go. And Eric Show. So I was right on 82 top, so I recognize the set design. All right. There's that Eric Show again. Cool photo. It's like every cool photo in this set kind of has a following or has been featured in magazines or articles. So, you know, the set definitely gets some love. It's not like totally forgotten, but I think from a value perspective, people don't. Andy Van Slyke, one of your favorite players. You know, people don't really talk about the set anymore like they used to. This set was such a huge set for a few years. Ozzy, very cool. And so 2 cards I'd like to get, you know, the Barry Bonds and the Griffey. So that's on the Griffey there, and this card here is, trying to look, I think it's Griffey. This is definitely not Griffey, it's Carl Rhodes, who set some records in Japan for home runs. It's kind of cool. Carl Tuffy Rhodes, Pete O'Brien. Carl, I remember this card. You know, just the cool hat. You know, very into that uniform for sure. I actually have the hat. You know, from Fanatics or whoever's making hats nowadays. Hope you guys watched my Fanatics video recently. The card nonsense video response or whatever. Cardboard nonsense. Yeah, those guys are a little interesting. I wish they would actually take it a little more seriously in terms of when they interview these folks, because they have a platform, they have a forum, and they can ask some tougher questions, and they really choose not to, and I don't know why. Other than just losing sponsors or having people get mad at them, which shouldn't matter to those kind of guys, right? Because that would create some ratings, you would think, anyway. Oz again. Cool. Again, I think the socks all look awesome in that uniform. Jason Grimsley. Wow. Doug Drabek, Cy Young award-winning pitcher for the Pirates. Paul Molitor. Just got that cool Donish Crusade of him. And we saw the DeShields and the Manuel. So, all right, we're getting down to the last, what's it, 12 packs. So we're over halfway there. I didn't look to see if the Griffey was on the front or back. My bad. Oh, the Bonds is around the back. So I could have had a Ryan or a Barry Bonds on the back. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh well, at least we're opening the pack so you can see the cards. But yeah, that was another kind of silliness on my part. Anyway, should have looked. But there was the Bonds were on the back, and there you go. Cool photo. I like the fact at least these guys' uniform on. It's not a complete high school portrait photo like some of these cards are. There's another Ron Carkervice. I think he was a catcher. Yeah. Backup catcher. They had Carlton Fisk on. There's Kirby Puckett. Cool. Another Hall of Famer. It's no Griffey yet, and so that's not the Griffey. It looks like that's a 78. That's either Alan Trammell or Whitaker, and then this card is on the front. Trying to tell it's not Griffey. So this is, yeah. So there we go. Yeah, it was 87 tops. I could tell it wasn't the Griffey though. But the back card is Alan Trammell. So there's Don Mattingly, who sells okay. Cool, and then you can see Don's 84 tops. Cool.
Dick Schofield. Put Donnie Baseball down here. You know, put him in there with all the big cards because he does sell well. And the PSA 10 value. Yep. A lot of cards. A lot of cards. Alright, that was Tim. And then the front of this pack looks like an 84 Thompson. It's hard to tell. You need like a flashlight or something. No, 86 Tops. To really see through that pack a little bit better. Alright. Another check here. So we saw that earlier. Jeff Gray, Vince Like. Ah, that's cool. Ozzie Smith right behind Vince. I don't think we saw that before. And then Bill Doran, who looks a lot like Chris Sabo. Greg Vaughn. Kevin Mitchell, who was really good. Tim Nearing. And let's see what we got over here. Yeah, the insert is stuck to the card. There we go. Scott Geralds, Von Hayes, and no Griffey yet. So really, we're down to Griffey and Cal Ripken as the two biggest cards we haven't hit. That's not him on the back, and I don't think that's him on the front either. John Margus. So this is kind of cool. Like, it's one of those guys who was part of that 85 Tops USA team set. Yeah, Sandberg's on the front on this one. Darryl Hamilton, Templeton, Lance Johnson, another Sandberg. So lots of duplicates of some really cool Hall of Famers. Zane Smith, who was a good pitcher for the Pirates when they traded to get him for the pennant run. Hey, it's our first Dave Justice. I remember pulling this card and really sticking it in my binders back in the day. And wow, all right, we're down to the last 8 packs here. And yeah, I didn't look at this one, so I'm trying to just get through them because I'm seeing the same cards over and over, and I know you guys are too. We all want to try to find the Griffey. And then another Zane Smith, who we just got just like a second ago. Again, you know, another Dave Justice. So yeah, it's virtually the same pack we just opened. There we go. Still, you know, a nice looking card. Mark Davis, Chet Lemon, Mike Harkey. Gary Pettis. Eric Hansen and Robinson. It's amazing, you know, how big these sets were and how they are today. It's just, you know, such a night and day. Trevor Wilson, Pete O'Brien, Carlton Fisk. So for everyone likes that card. Moses Lou, who used to be a Pirate. As you can see right on this card. It's very painful. And he was close to being a Hall of Famer too. I mean, there's so many players who just almost made it from the 90s. You know, another one is, you know, from a Pirate standpoint, you know, I remember there was a little push on like Van Slyke, but, you know, he was never going to make it, but he was really good for a few years. All right, 6 packs to go. It's Night Griffey there. It's a giant on the front. So 85 Tops giant. That's going to be Jose Uribe. We go John Franco, Jay Bell, Doc Gooden, Jose Uribe, Ricky Jordan. These are new cards, so I don't think it's the first time I saw of him. Greg Olson. David Wells, who pitched forever. Another guy who's had a great career. There's Greg Maddux. Awesome, Greg Maddux. And, yep. So, down to the bottom. Man, it's been a long video, and hopefully folks looking for the Griffey, we hit it in one of the final packs. So it's going to come down to the wire. I will be mildly disappointed without getting the Griffey. I will be perfectly honest. Just because, that's who I super collect, and I just, would like to just, there it is. There it is. After all gnashing of teeth, there's Mr. Griffey. Not stuck together. And Red Georgia Brett right behind. Very cool. Super glad. There we go. Pulled the Griffey. Pulled the Brett right behind it. And so there we go. Perfect box of cards. All the hits. I guess we're still missing Cal Ripken. And the vision on the back of that pack. Dalton, Mulholland. So it just took a little bit to get him, but we got him. There we go. 2 Moses Alous in the same pack. There you go. Tops being tops. And so yeah, I think Ripken would be the last big card that we haven't hit yet. There we go. Bernansky, Javier, Girardi, and Craig Biggio. So we got 3 packs left. Not Griffey. Don't think it's Griffey on the front either. And these packs were, I guess they open at least. Some packs today don't open. Are harder to get open than these bad boys. So Greg Harris, that's a new guy. So Gene Larkin. So maybe we'll get this will be the pack. So Dan Pascal. So we've seen that guy. There's BJ Serhoff, who was awesome for a while. Dickie Thon. Larry Walker. So there we go. It's a new card. Greg Brock. Matt Noakes. Todd Zeal. So those were some new cards. Michael Fetters, Doug Jones. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to my Doug Jones count yet. Here's a cool card. And I remember buying this set just to get the Topps Traded set, just to get that Jim Abbott rookie card. I still have it. It's in my pile of sets downstairs, but it's still there. There's Barry Larkin again. Galarraga. So this is a very nice pack. There's Dave Parker. This is literally, I think, one of his last cards. He had 21 home runs, 92 RBIs at 289 in 1990. So he was still a really good player. Steve Henderson kind of had a resurgence toward the end of his career before he got caught up probably with all those other older players and got colluded out of the game. Jim Abbott missing part of his hand, and pretty inspiring guy. Pitched forever, which is great. Not a Hall of Famer, but he did a great job with the skills he had. So I think that's an awesome story. I'm really surprised they haven't done like a Jim Abbott story. I heard he was kind of a jerk. in real life. I've never met him, but that was the rumors that he wasn't a nice guy to hang out with. There's another Dave Stewart. I'm not going to pull him out. It's just cool to see another tuxedo card. Another Kevin Moss. Another Dykstra. Don't think we're getting Mr. Ripken today. Nope. So that was the only big card we're going to miss in this whole box. Which is awesome because he's not the most important. Kevin Taffany. So there you go. So recap. I mean, of the 3 big cards we wanted to hit, got 2 Frank Thomases. Very cool. We've got, 2 Nolan Ryan tuxedo cards. 1 Ken Griffey Jr. There we go. And then tons and tons of good Hall of Famers and just nice cards, you know. Ozzy, Canseco, well, you can argue Canseco, but there's Bonds. Another tuxedo card. You've got Maddox, Brett, Donnie Baseball, Juan Gonzalez, Juan Gone. There's Sandberg. There's Larkin. There's Bonos. There's Steve Winfield and Sammy Sosa. Really cool looking card. Wade Boggs. Omar Vizquel and Craig Biggio. So a lot of Hall of Famers. Just fun cards. And that's it. So hopefully you guys like seeing it. And I will be back next time with a debut of a new series I'm starting. All right. See ya. Bye.